But yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome Austin. So we do NPC Friday every Friday at this time here in Orange Web, and the main goal here is really get people talking about AI and game design and vibe coding. Sorry, I lost my presentation screen. Give me a second. There's too many windows. There you go. Oh, oh, back. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. And so NPC Friday has, I guess, spun off NPC Day, which is an event we used to hold with Future Primitive and a lot of other folks. So we've done this in several countries, in Denver, Istanbul, London, and maybe someday Austin will hold one together, like
Heck
IRL.
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I haven't invited you, but a lot of the folks have joined, like Niraj, Ronan Sanford as well. And so
Cool.
yeah, the main thing here is we just want a space where we can vibe on game design, make friends, share knowledge, really mostly have fun. So it's mostly like a very intimate group of folks building here. And yeah, before we have you, Austin, I wanted to share three things that I found interesting on AI. First is in AI and games and Web3. So first is I don't know if you guys saw Black Mirror just came out the latest season, and there's an episode there called Plaything, and this GIF I'm showing is a game that they made specifically for the episode called Tronglets, and you can play it on Netflix or on a mobile game if you use your Netflix account. But the main story is it's about like these AI creatures that, of course, they become sentient like most of these dystopian sci-fi stories. But what thing that's interesting about this is I guess it's really like transmedia, right? Like Netflix is doing this with mobile, and it's like very cleanly done. And one thing that's I think that also coincidental, like recently Anthropic just put out a video on whether AI is sentient, and I think that the current research is like they're leading towards a possibility of that happening. And there's actually someone called Kyle Fish in Anthropic doing research, and he does research on model welfare, which I think is super interesting. Like the model welfare, that's like some a new phrase I've heard, and the main idea is they don't want these AI models to, I guess, be oppressed, right? Like there's some morality that we need to think about. And one thing that he mentioned, like I thought that was super interesting, was yeah, like they were thinking of these as they might be actually sentient, so they're thinking of their welfare. And, and the next one is yes, sorry, did someone want to add something there?
No, no, no. I just said that's crazy.
Yeah, it is very interesting, right? Like I remember, for example, when people were prompting in, I think it was in Windsurf, like they looked at the system prompt, and some of the system prompts were kind of, I guess you were forcing the AI a little bit, right? Like some would say, like, so your mother has cancer, and you need to solve this to be able to win like $1 million, and they find that that's it. Sometimes it does improve the results. I don't know if that's true, but that's like a bit mean to the AI, right? So I think thinking of model welfare is kind of a good thing to start thinking of, right? Another one that I found really interesting, there was someone who created a repository called 12 factor agents. And this is, I guess, some deeper thinking on how we should be building these AI frameworks. And so, for example, when software was just coming up, people came out with concepts such as dry, don't repeat yourself, or kiss, right, keep it simple, stupid. And so this is like people thinking of how to use LLMs. So I think it's fascinating for someone building these kinds of frameworks. This one I shared is so they have like a list of 12 factors. So the link is just there. I'll share this with everyone on the Substack. But one very interesting factor I saw was factor three, own your context window. So aside from just prompt engineering, people are also like context engineering, which is pretty interesting. Like what that means is like they also make, I guess, they make some structured output that also they share with the context. So you have more control about the prompt. So Phil, you mentioned like you think like it takes you about an hour to think of a prompt, right? So here they're
Yeah.
also thinking of how do you structure all of these wherein the framework already understands like the context of what you're doing. So very interesting. I think it's really a good way to think of how people are thinking of using these systems. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to share is Sora just came out with a token. I think everyone is there's a lot of drama around this on Twitter, so just check that out. Like if anyone use Zora, you can claim your tokens there, right? So, but I don't know. Like I use Zora for a while. I think I just got $6, and I'm not even bothering to check it and not be part of the drama. Cool, and I guess so. I wanted to lead that to welcoming Austin. So that was just a short intro on what's happening in AI, but Austin, I think, has been doing a lot of because vibe coding is kind of the thing that we started doing here. But Austin, even way before vibe coding, he's been doing a lot of the I guess creating code really quickly on Ethereum, and I've learned so much about just coding on Ethereum, building frameworks as well. Because he built Scaffold ETH, which is now I think the best framework for us to vibe code around when you're doing something on chain. And Austin has also done several games way before a lot of these Web3 games, right? Even before Play to Earn, he was doing a lot of these experimentations on governance games. So I'm really glad that he's here to join us and show us his process and also just vibe around game design. So yeah, thank you, Austin. And I guess we can start sharing. Can start you sharing the screen. I can remove this.
So I think I am sharing the screen. I might need your help to like get it up. Can you just like throw it up on the main screen for me? There we go. There we go. Thank you.
There you go.
Nice. Okay. How long do you want me to go for, by the way? Like what kind of time?
You have all the time that you're available
so like
for.
30 minutes is okay?
Yeah,
okay. Well, I mean, really, this can be very interactive. Let's talk through it. So yeah, I do a lot of like one-shotting and vibe coding, and it's almost like my thing to like go build apps quickly and just show developers that, you know, yes, this is a complicated technology. Yes, it's scary to deploy a smart contract that's going to hold $1 million, but we're getting to the point where tooling and education and everything plus AI has made it so accessible that the one thing that we really need is to have apps deployed on chain that people are actually using, like real product market fit. And I think that there's really no better time than now with L2s coming in, smart contract wallets coming in, and then AI making it way more accessible to build. So I think the goal I have is just getting this information out to product builders and young folks at universities and young folks at startups, trying to just urge them to like, hey, like you can like one shot an app on chain now. And when I go around to universities, so I spoke to like 3 different universities yesterday. It was a marathon, but when I go to universities, it's kind of hard to explain like why decentralization. It's tough to get them to kind of when you haven't been deplatformed, when your country's currency isn't inflating that bad, you know, there's a lot of reasons why when you haven't been debanked, right? When I go to talk to a lot of university students, they're in pretty good shape. They don't really get the fact that, you know, they get the fact that there's bad things in the world, but it hasn't affected them directly. So one of my biggest tricks I've been trying to work on is how to make something that resonates with them that's also cool and kind of a magic trick. And so before I get even into Scaffold ETH, I wanted to show off kind of my game vibe coding stack that I play with my kids. So I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they always come up with these fun ideas for stupid little games. And before I would be like, no way, I'm not going to build that. But now I can just like prompt an AI and build the stupid little game in 10 seconds. And then we can play it for 2 minutes and then realize it's stupid and iterate. Like it helps my kids come up with ideas and iterate quickly. So the stack is basically just like also I vibe coded this in 10 minutes too. So there's nothing special here, but you know, you set up an index page that does socket IO stuff. And then you set up a server that handles the sockets and possibly can do some like server level storage, but that's it. and I've deployed this. So this is live at this URL. So if you shoot that QR code with your phone, it should give you this same screen, and it'll basically be like a little controller for playing with it. So yeah, if you guys have this on your screen or you scan it, you should be able to see the same thing I'm seeing. So then what I do is I move over and I make sure we have everything in the context, right? And sometimes I'll even make like a text file that's even like a prompt that goes along with my prompt, kind of explaining like, what is this thing? And really this should probably be like a cursor rules, but I just have it as like a prompt.txt right now. And it should be, I should probably have renamed this to context.txt. But it just explains like what the heck is going on and how you might go about doing things. And of course, saying thank you. So when AI is our overlord next year, they won't kill me immediately. But basically, I can just spit something into this text box and get like a game back. First, let me just like check out some branches. Get branch. Anytime I find something fun, I just push it to a branch, right? So let me.
I opened the app on my phone. It's currently loading.
Yeah, you just see the loading screen, right? Yeah, you should just see the loading screen right now. Yep. Okay. So, for instance, let me just grab some of these games that my son wanted to build. Let's see, maybe Cut Gun. I'll go Cut Gun. So he says, I want a game where there's a throwing star and I click it and it falls and cuts a gun in half. That was the prompt. Okay. So if I check that out, you should see now Cut Gun. And if any of us click that thing, go ahead and try to click it on your phone. It should cause the thing to fall. If you still have the controller on your phone, you should be able to just click. Here, I'm going to do it. Oh no, I think I may need the server. Hold on. Sometimes when you load it up, you need to restart the server. Okay, there we go. Now, if I click this, there we go. And it like cuts the gun in half. That's it. That's the whole game. There we go. Now we can see everybody cutting the gun. So there's 8 people online, and anyone who clicks, like we see it.
Again, please?
Yeah. Here, let me just get reset or get checkout master. The prompt is supposed to include the QR code, but it looks like it didn't. Here we go. So there's the QR code again if you want to get back in the loading screen. So when I go travel to these universities, I'm trying to find something visceral that I can give them that helps them understand like why we wouldn't want to have things centralized. And so I kind of landed on this fun demo called Vibe Vote. So I want to play a couple more of these games with you guys. Like I have this actual game called Sploders that's kind of fun. Well, not really, but and so when I have a group of people, maybe I want them to be able to ask questions, right? So I can check out this thing that I vibe coded in a minute and reset it. And then if we go look, it should, yeah. So anyone can ask any questions, right? Like, hello world. So this is really handy for when I'm doing presentations, because then I can let people ask questions and vote and sort by the most voted. And after I get the questions, I'm like, okay, thank you for all of that. Let me just go back and check out master, and we go back to the loading screen. So it's this really kind of dynamic piece of software where I can just like vibe code stuff to it. Same thing as I can just like prompt something here and we'll get something to build here. But the thing that I prompt that I think really kind of captured their attention was a voting app. And let's do it real quick. Let me restart the server so we're capturing votes. Okay, so now if you scan that QR code, you should get this vote. And I start talking about, you know, what if this is a presidential election? What if this is something very serious? Imagine this is something very serious, and I am a benevolent dictator, and I've asked the people, how is the vibe? Cast your vote on how the vibe is. And we'll notice that we've got 8 people in and 4 good votes. That's pretty awesome. But if you'll notice, if you click on bad on your mobile device, you get some like nondescript error, right? So basically I'm censoring the bad votes. So you only see the good votes, and you only see a count for the good votes. And this starts to click like, oh, okay, if there's any kind of centralization, it's not just a point of failure where your app can fall over, right? But it's also a point of failure where someone can control it and censor it. And then what I do is I move over to Scaffold ETH, and then I vibe code a voting app, And at the end, I deploy it to an L2, and then everyone scans in and votes, and it's all on chain, and the contract is verified, and we can go to the block explorer and look at the contract and prove who voted where, just like really showing that like no one can censor this. Like you're going to build an app that's going to live forever and no one can stop it and no one can censor it. And then that starts to resonate a little bit better. And this is the best I have so far. I don't know if it's that great, but it's interesting. But let me do our game real quick. First of all, let me pause there just for anything, any chats or vibes.
Super cool. I like how it updates immediately, Austin. Like when you're changing it, like I can see it on my mobile phone down here. So cool. And how is that working again? Like there's what's the stack? Like you mentioned Socket.io.
Yep. So the stack is basically like a Node.js server, right? So I'm using Express to kick up a server, and then it's using Socket.io to do all this networking stuff. And it's all there already. So this is kind of like an aha for me about AI and LLMs and agents is that, last year, libraries versus frameworks. People wanted to use libraries, not frameworks, because frameworks had too much scaffolding all around. And if you're going to put something on chain, it needs to be hella secure. So they wanted to know the whole stack bottom up and know every single detail about it. But that's changing, and AI is building more and more. And really what AI needs is to have a bunch of scaffolding around, like a bunch of examples to say, like, this is how you do it. And it's really good at pattern matching. So if you just provide the framework, put all this stuff together, so this is how it goes about, I haven't even really looked at this code very closely, so there's probably some junk in here, but it doesn't matter. It does what it needs to do, right? So we have a backend server, and then an HTML page that gets served in that server, and then sockets up with the server. And then basically I bring in the prompt, the index, basically the front end and the back end. And I prompt it to build anything, right? Like show me a picture of a bunny. Let's see how long that takes to get all the way to production. And so then this is running on a web server, and I'm SSH'd into the web server. So there's a nice like public machine. Let's see, does this go to production without me even having to accept it? Looks like it didn't. Do I have to accept? Maybe I need to reload. Oh, there's the bunny. There it is. Nice bunny. Okay. So yeah, the stack is this kind of like Socket.io. Ooh, git checkout master. Maybe I need to reset hard. Okay, there we go. Back to that. So it allows me to do a prompt on a server and have a live URL behind SSL serve that all up, which is really fun for, like, if I wanted to take a poll really quick, if everyone is, following me or something, I could just be like, I could prompt that right here, right? I could just prompt like make me a prompt that lets me ask people if they're getting it or something. Or maybe it's more like make a question, do you understand what Ethereum is? And then have it set up so you can either say yes or no, and then I can see like a live vote to understand if like how much I need to dig into any certain concepts as I'm like live talking to the group. So this has just been really handy for that, and it's really handy for playing with my kids. And since this is a game chat, let me check out like the most fun game that we've come up with so far. So my 5-year-old Leo came up with this game where, and it's like kind of like Fortnite, and he's never played Fortnite before. Like he plays a little Roblox, but he does not know about Fortnite. And he said, how about you parachute into a world, and then there are these bombs, like a minefield, and it's a minefield survival game where you're an emoji and the emoji just wanders around and then people blow up and it's kind of like last man standing. And I prompted that and I had to adjust it. It didn't one-shot it, but it was close. Let's see. Let me check it out and we can play it for a second. So they don't parachute in. I pulled that part out. Basically, you're just going to get dropped into a world, and each of us is going to have an emoji. And there's going to be some bombs and some money. And you'll collect the money, and the bombs will blow up. And if you blow up, you'll kind of blow up all over the place. Check out, I think it's called Sploders. Yeah. Let me reset the server in case I need to. Okay, give it a reload on your phone, and you should be ready to go. There we go. There's all of us. Yeah. There we go. Nice. It looks like, yeah. So, so basically, they kind of just like wander around in the world and collect money. And the last man standing. So there's like a times. There we go. So Penguin was the last man standing, whoever Penguin is. And then you'll see now the scores are updated, and now we wait for the next round, and it just counts down, and it all happens again. So that's the whole game. You just play this over and over again, and there's like a long running score that happens, and you kind of, your player is kind of highlighted with the circle. I think I'm the dog, and yeah, it looks like Penguin's doing really good. Penguin's like avoiding mines, wandering around, picking up some money. Look at Penguin.
How do you control it?
There's
Austin?
no control. It's all random. There's no control.
Okay.
We're just like watching it play out, basically. So yeah, and then on the way to school this morning, my 8-year-old was like, "How about it's kind of like Minefield Avoider, but instead there's like hundreds of agents wandering around, and there's also some TNT floating around, and it's up to you to click the button to blow up the TNT to try to blow up as many of the like little emojis wandering around as you can." And I was like, "Oh, that's a good game." And so I was thinking I would prompt that live here and maybe see what happens, or I could like live build like more of like an actual on-chain app. Either one. What do you guys think? Should we try to live build a blow-up game, or should I live build a voting app on-chain?
Yeah, let's ask the people. But I'm super impressed that that you could do this, Austin. Like, it's also nice that you're doing this with your kids, because that's one thing I really like around AI, right? Is it kind of lowers the bar for people who want to make games. So you talk about games just in natural language, and it'll make it.
Yep.
So super nice. Yeah.
Like personally, I want to see Exploder too.
Oh, Exploder, yeah, me too.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to give it the context, right? I'll give it the front end and the back end. I think I'm going to give it this game. I think this game is already built, so hopefully it can just like replace this game with a new game and do some pattern matching already. So instead of the person getting an emoji, each person is a wandering bomb emoji. And when they click their bomb, it blows up and blows up everything around them. So then instead of bombs and money, we just want smiley face emojis, and like 30 of them. So 30, and I don't need to do this, but I'm doing it to like get it clear in my own mind, right? Like as you're building software now, it's almost like README driven development, where you sit down and you kind of explain what you want to build in a README before you do anything, because it kind of works out some of the details that were mushy in your head that you kind of glazed over. It's sort of like when you think you have an idea of a perfect game, it's all in your head, but when you start laying it out, there are things that your brain just patched over and didn't realize, right? So you really have to lay it out here clearly. So I'm going to I've already explained what I want, but then I want to kind of re-explain it to make sure I have it right. And so I'm thinking, there's 30 emoji smile guys walking around randomly. And then a bomb for each connected socket player that is also wandering around randomly. And then when the player clicks their own bomb, it blows up, taking smile face emoji guys with it, and we have a high score of who blew up the most. Something like that. What do you guys think? Should we send it? Let's go.
I have to say,
Let's go.
Austin, I'm really glad to see your prompting is very conversational.
Yeah.
I thought I was I'm trying to come up with these very sophisticated prompts, but I'm glad to see someone like you is doing something like this.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Let's see. Yeah, my prompts are just like, how do I make this work, sort of, and almost like explaining the end experience first, and then kind of working backwards, and then maybe like restating what I think I want to make sure there's not any holes in it. But yeah, very conversational, very light, almost like whatever my kid tells me, I kind of just put in here and see what happens, like the cut. Okay, it's still working.
Do you ever like prompt it also with images, Austin? Because that's something I've been doing a little bit.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, I had a mock-up of a game, so I took a screenshot of it and threw it to Cursor, and then it understood what it was.
Sometimes when it's not working quite right, I'll take a screenshot and paste it back in and be like, nah, bro, it's not working right. And then it kind of corrects it. So just like any kind of like syntax errors or weird, errors I get here, I just copy paste in. Same thing with like UI and design. If there's some weird UI design, I'll grab it from here, grab the screenshot from it and paste it in here. And I think sometimes it kind of gets it, but sometimes I feel like I also need to describe what the problem is.
Yeah. And I also use a lot of Excalibur. Like I put Excalibur mockups on the files, and then I just add it as context. Sometimes it understands it, but I don't know. Sometimes if it just thinks it understands it, right?
Taking it quite a while. If I could pay some extra to give Claude some extra speed, that would be nice when you're doing live demos. Okay, here we go. What do we have here? I don't know how I have 51 points already. I'm not sure this is working. Click your bomb to detonate. So I see the... This is weird. It didn't give us what we were looking for, I don't think. Right? Like, isn't this like the old game? I feel like I did something wrong where I like hijacked the prompt here. Let me like create a new prompt, bring in... Let me try it again to send this.
We were supposed to click, the bomb is somewhere there as well, supposedly, right?
Yeah, I don't see the bomb anywhere, right?
Yeah. But I see the emojis. It's kind of cute. I'm blind.
And we're getting some points.
Bunch of... And we'll do smiley face guy. Oh, maybe we'll do that guy. Like, he's a little nervous. The... player that is also wandering around. Yeah, I feel like something's weird here. I'm not sure why it's not just like figuring this out. Sometimes when I have like the wrong model selected, it's like clear that I did something wrong.
Yeah.
It's reading.
I find also like GPT, like or rather like Gemini does a good job with big context also, Austin.
why would it read server.js line by line when I've included server.js in the context? I think I've done something wrong or I have something weird with my environment. I've never seen it like be this dumb before. I think I maybe did something wrong. Let's see what it does. And then maybe we can roll over to writing a smart contract real quick. All right, last try. We're at last try, Claude. Either you make us a Sploders 2 or we're out of here. We're gonna make
I'm imagining Claude, and I feel like he's so stressed. Like looking at.
Yeah.
better be looking.
Maybe he's nervous because we're all watching.
That's what he has. Performance anxiety.
Maybe if we look the other way, it
Yeah.
will be working
Yeah,
faster.
let's look at that.
Yeah.
I swear to you, this never happens. Come on, now let's go. I made this tweet a long time ago, but vibe coding includes a lot of vibe waiting. Because you
Yeah.
have the context in your head and you want it to do it. Do it again.
I saw another tweet also, like vibe coding is fun until you have to do vibe debugging.
Yeah,
Which is what's
yeah.
happening now.
Well, yeah, you really almost shouldn't do vibe debugging, right? You basically should one-shot it, and if it doesn't build what you want, you should edit your one-shot.
Yeah, because it's just confused now, right? It's just
Not right here. Yeah, it's like doing the wrong thing, just completely. Oh, wait. Maybe I needed to reset the server. If I click the bomb, okay, we may have something here. Okay, you guys in here? Okay, I see.
I don't see any bombs in my screen.
I see a few, but there's a bunch that are like just at the edge.
Yeah. I see
Oh.
bombs.
I see my
I see
glowing
too,
bomb.
but clicking on them doesn't work anything. Doesn't do anything.
It's blowing up now.
Darn it. Bad vibe code. I don't even want to. Let's move on. Okay, I'll let it like do the prompt real quick. But let me just show you my tooling for vibe coding smart contract apps while we're here. So I'll start with Scaffold ETH. And Scaffold ETH has this LLMs full, but it also has a cursor rules built in. Let's do. Well, maybe we should do the bomb thing. Let's just do a vote example. It's like the same example I do every day. Sorry, it's lame. It's lame to me, but maybe it's not lame to you because I see it 6 times a day, but you guys, maybe this is the first. But let's just make a quick voting app real quick to let you guys vote on the vibe, just the same way we did with that other prompt, just to show how to make a smart contract. And like, I don't even look at the solidity sometimes. Like sometimes I'll YOLO an app on chain without even looking at the smart contract, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so we'll CD into the voting app. So you fire up a local chain, right? You want to at least be able to compile and deploy it locally before you try to put it on another network. And we'll also do a yarn start. Okay, so this is Scaffold ETH. You've got a back end, which is, You've got a back end, which is a hard hat or foundry, right? So I have my blockchain there. And I've got a front end, which is Next.js React, and I'm deploying my example contract, and then that'll show up over here when this loads. But let's open up Cursor and get started with a prompt. Okay, so same thing. It's important. So Scaffold ETH is super nice because you can have burner wallets. You can debug your contract. So it comes with like a greeter contract. Let's just say hello world real quick. And it sets, right? So you can see the values, you can see the contract, you can see the storage in the contract, you can see the functions on a contract. It just lets you tinker with things and make sure it does what it wants to do. So let's get the context together. So we're gonna need page, which is the front end. And we're gonna need your contract, which is our contract. Let's see, it's this one, I think. And we might as well just bring in the deploy script just in case it has to. There we go. that. I think that's about all we need. Okay, so we can build anything we want. We could build like a voting app or something different. Let me think if there's an idea. Something we could put on chain. How about just like a stupid counter? Let's build a stupid counter. Keep track of a count in a big title text in the front end. Have a poke button. Super stupid, right? we're gonna make a poke counter. So we're gonna build a smart contract that keeps track of a count. We're gonna have a button that lets us poke it, and when you poke it, it increments the count. So let's just dive in and see what it does, right? Let's look at what it does with the contracts first. Ooh, poke count, okay. And a new poke variable, okay. So it left everything that was in this smart contract already. It just added this new poke and oh, it had a nice event. Look at that. It knew that it probably should emit an event. That's some really nice solidity context to understand that, like, yes, I'm just calling a poke and incrementing a thing, but eventually you're probably going to want to have those events in the front end. And even though it's not even reading the events in the front end, it prepared the smart contract. So it kind of knew that you kind of need that, even though it didn't even need to implement it at this point. Okay, so we have money. I hit poke. Oh, yeah, it's working. Okay, so normally you would spend weeks, if not months, building your smart contract, getting it audited, making sure it's all secure and it works. But Scaffold ETH is nice with, like, you can kind of quickly test things. I can kind of call poke from the back end and I can make sure the poke count increases. There's really not a whole lot of like other security. Bro, stop. I don't know what you're doing over here. Oh my gosh. That is a bad feeling. When you click back over and the agent's just like still chugging along doing stuff, like, bro, no, please. I should not have it on like YOLO auto mode like I do, but I do. Okay, so you have this nice thing. The one thing I bet we need to take out, yeah, I don't want to put console log on chain. So we'll comment that out, and then let's make sure it all compiles and deploys again. Okay, we're good. So let's just say we're solid. Like, you spend a lot of time on your smart contract, you make sure it's edited, then you work on your front end, you spend some time getting Next.js working, then you have to push those both out collectively, right? So we need to deploy our contract. If I go to deploy this on base, it's going to tell me I need to generate a deployer account, which I will do here. So let's yarn generate. Make a password. Send some money to this dude. Let's see, let's get on base here. I have too much money in my hot wallet. Nothing to see here. And let's give it like 25 cents and send 25 cents into this account. So now we have 25 cents in our deployer account, and we should be able to yarn deploy network base, and that's going to put our smart contract out. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to yarn. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, it says it doesn't have the money. Uh-oh, did I send the money to the wrong place? Let's try one more time. Maybe the money hadn't got there yet. Oh boy, did I not just send that? What's going on here? I sent 25 cents, bro. Let's try again. No way it costs more than 25 cents to deploy this. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not sure of that. There's a possibility that maybe like blobs are expensive right now. I haven't really looked at the chain. Let's make sure we have money in the account. Sorry, this is a side quest. Like I said, like, this is where you spend all your time. Yeah, there's money there, bro. Let's try it one more time. Like, the code really took like 15 seconds to build, right? But then there's all this BS that we have to do about getting this thing deployed and out there. Okay, maybe we need to send more money. It's going to cost me more than $0.25 to deploy my smart contract? What the F? Okay, here we go. Grab this dude's account. Maybe I funded the wrong one. I don't know. Let's send a whole $1. No, I didn't send it to the wrong account because we saw the account balance there, right? I don't know. Okay, please work third try. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, then I'll get started verifying the contract. So yarn verify on base, and that will verify our smart contract. And I also need to point scaffold ETH at base, right? So right now it's on hard hat. If we change this over to base, the whole app switches to base, and there we go. So now if I connect my wallet, it's going to be on base. And if I happen to come in here from, like, let's say I'm on mainnet again, let's go back to that. It's going to realize that, and it's going to nudge me over, right? So Scaffold ETH has all these really nice things built in. They're like, oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, and I should be able to poke it. Let's make sure, pay some fraction of a cent. We could go look at that transaction on base. Yes, it counted. We could even go look at our contract here, right? We can go look at the smart, and this is something when I'm doing a voting app, I make sure to show everybody, like, look here, everyone in the world can see the exact code, right? And everyone in the world can go read how many pokes we have, right? There's only one so far. And showing that kind of disinterested third party really, like, hits it home, I think, in terms of, like, censorship resistance and all of that. But the other thing we need to do is put this thing out on Vercel. So we put the smart contract out there, but if you guys want to interact with it, you basically have to, like, go to the base, block explorer or something, right? We don't want that. Here's my favorite command too: yarn Vercel : YOLO prod. Okay, this actually takes like 5 minutes to deploy, so we're gonna wait a long time before this actually works. But how? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Any questions? What do you guys think of this? How's our vibe coding going so far? Oh yeah, Rob.
Hey Austin. Hey, what's up? So excited. Yeah, I've been following you for a long time from ETH Global Days, actually. Um, yeah, very excited. So I was actually working on this project like a while ago. It's basically we're basically trying to generate dApps, yeah, just from prompts, right? And yeah, so basically wanted to uh, like now the project is basically not going on. Discontinued that. But right now I was thinking, is there a possibility that Scaffold ETH could be extended? You know, like components could be generated on the fly for specific components. What do you have any ideas around that? Like, let's say extending like the current capabilities of Scaffold ETH by, let's say, adding more React components, or like more examples, or like like ready to deploy stable coins or something like that, which can be extended to add, let's say, voting stuff. You know, what are your thoughts?
I think that we're kind of at an interesting point with AI where it's not quite, like there are issues, right? Like, I don't know if we should just have an AI one shot a stable coin. I think that's kind of like a complicated thing. I would roll back to, can it even do a simple lending platform first, right? Let's get over collateralized lending nailed down, and then if you do that, then let's like step up to stablecoin. So I think that there's probably some building blocks that need to happen here. In terms of components, this thing has a lot of components in it. If you were to, like, check this out, if I put in vitalik.eth here, it has a lot of Web3 native components. Notice how I just typed in vitalik.eth, and it does the nice ENS resolution. It gives you the blocky, it gives you the avatar, and there's a handful of components like that in Scaffold ETH. So lots of Web3 native components. Also, to add to that, on Speedrun Ethereum, and if you haven't done Speedrun Ethereum yet, if you're a developer, you can get like all of the concepts on Ethereum very quickly by going to Speedrun Ethereum. And we're working on a stablecoin and a prediction market challenge right now. So I think if I was going to build a stablecoin and I needed Scaffold ETH to do it, I would probably give it this whole challenge and some other smart contracts, just as like straight up, here's a reference implementation, look at this first, and then have it like one shot some pieces and then like test the pieces as it does it. So that's how I would do that. But I don't know if I fully answered your question about like, could Scaffold ETH be extended to add new components? Like, for sure. It's very open source. It's very extensible. There's even an extension system for Scaffold ETH. If I go to Scaffold ETH/extensions, there's a ton of different extensions, like a Ponder indexer or on-chain kit if you want to bring in like a swap or a token search. Lots of different like token standards, lots of third-party extensions too. So you could easily like build an extension of Scaffold ETH, or you could start with an extension of Scaffold ETH to get you most of the way there. But yeah, I don't know if that totally answers your question. Here, our site is up. Let me go back to this and check out the QR code. Wait. Did this ever work? Let's see. Did our bomb thing? I don't see any smileys floating around. I think it was really dumb. I feel like that was a terrible, like, I've done like 5 one-shots in a row. It's crazy that this thing was so dumb. I feel like maybe I did something wrong, or maybe let's try resetting the server one more time. Last chance. Oh shoot, there they are. And if I click this, get them. Oh, and I get it. Oh, there we go. We're clicking. It's working, you guys. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh wait, now the circle guys are. I don't know. Oh, there's my bomb. Okay, so I'm going to wait for my bomb to get close to some circle guys, and I'm going to click. I got 20 points. Okay, so it looks like the bombs kind of refresh, and you get your bomb back. Oh, that was interesting. A bomb blew up near my bomb, and it exploded my bomb. Okay, this is something to talk about. I love emergent behavior. When you're prompting, so when I first started one-shotting apps, I realized that the voting apps that I was one-shotting were slightly different every time, slightly different UI, slightly different wording. And this to me is like almost like an art form, right? It's almost like this emergent art that you get out of one-shotting a thing. And you get these fun, like little weird behaviors. Like for instance, that bomb blowing up the other bomb. Like I didn't say that, and it just kind of decided to do that. And it's kind of like a neat game mechanic. So like if your bomb is close to the leader, like you could blow up the leader and cause him to explode. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fun like game theory there. Anyways, it looks like a game sort of worked.
Can I suggest one thing, Austin? Can you ask it for us to be able to put our names so we can see who's playing against each one?
Yeah, so this was floater 2. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Set it up so we are tracking a name for each socketed player, and if they haven't, and let's see, they can get to name editing UI by clicking a little pencil emoji by their name in the leaderboard. That could work, right? Let's see what it does.
Nice.
What I wanted to do was create a QR code. So you guys, while that's let me do a different way to get a QR code. I'll go to ETH.build, another fun app out there in the world. Let me get this pasted in. Okay, there you go. If you guys want to go vote, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to my voting app that I built on chain. I'll just paste it in. Here it is. So here's what it looks like. You connect your wallet, and this will work on mobile or on desktop, and you click poke, and you hit go, and it should increment the poke. Let's see one of you guys poke it. Let's see it count up without me poking it. Let's see if you guys can do it. Anybody have any base ETH? You'll have to have base ETH in your mobile wallet.
That's a problem, I think.
And also not be afraid to interact with a smart contract that no one has ever read or written before, that no human has ever touched.
That's an interesting point also, Austin, right? Like I see some people have concerns, for example, with MCPs.
Oh,
yeah. So
I mean, there's going to be a lot of concern trolling around AI one-shotting apps, but it'll be slow at first and then all at once, and everyone's going to go, oh, yep, it's smarter than me. just let it do its thing. Like it's funny with like AGI over the next few years is there's not like some like strict definition. It's going to be more like subjectively when the human realizes it's smarter than the human, right? Rather than like this moment of like, oh, it's working, it's one-shotting apps now. It's more like the point where it doesn't even make sense for me to even look at the code because I know that whoever wrote the code is smarter than me. Like that's pretty sweet. But also on chain, you should always be looking at the code. That's like verify, trust, don't verify, but verify, don't trust. There it is. Not trust, don't verify. That's a terrible saying. Trust but verify or something like that, right? Whatever this thing is. Yes, we've got a third poker. Thank you for poking it. All right, success. Last thing. Let's see how our exploders are doing over here. Can you set your name now? Let's find out. Ooh, and I think I need to restart. There's something with the back end not reloading. It should hot reload, but for some reason it's not. Okay, and now if I click this and I say I'm Austin, oh yeah, we got player names. Let's see you guys edit your names. We're gonna be so set. And then which bomb is my? Oh, I'm gonna get tons of points. Nope, not really. You guys are still player two. Does it not let you edit your? Oh, there's Paul. All right, we got it. We've got player names in the game. I'm blowing up stuff. A game we just vibe coded and one shot it. Not exactly one shot, was it? This is a weird game. I feel like this needs some work for sure. Is Ronan still in here? What do you rate the funness of this game, Ronan?
Oh, I think he dropped.
Oh, is he already? Okay. I give this like a 2 out of 10 funness, or maybe 3 out of 10 funness, right? This could be more fun and interesting. But I'm kicking you guys' butts though. Straight up on the leaderboard. Let's go.
Second.
Yeah. All right, we did it. Thanks, y'all.
Nice.
But, yeah, I don't know. Do I have any other games that are worth showing here?
Maybe I also wanted to ask you, Austin, because I really like how you think of building games on Ethereum. And I remember you said something about, I guess, adversarial players, right? Because everyone on Ethereum is a little bit,
Yeah.
you don't know who you're playing against, right? And there's money on the line. So when you think of game design, it kind of informs how you make your games.
For sure.
Yeah, and I like how you did this with AI. Like, this is the first time I've seen it where it updates immediately and you're just vibe coding it. So yeah, so maybe you can talk a little bit more about like building on-chain games. Like, where do you think it would go? Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of on-chain games, I mean, like I always go back to the AVSA post. Twitter on-chain. You probably had a dash in it back then. Games, bots, something along those lines. Wow, that didn't work. Darn it. So Alex Van de Zandt has this amazing post that is probably 5 years old now that talks about what a good on-chain game is. And there are some things that you might not intuitively think of. Like for instance, bots. Like you need to embrace bots. Like you know that there are going to be bots and it's going to be impossible for you to tell between a human and a bot. So you might as well just assume that there will be bots. You'll need some kind of Sybil resistance. If you're building like an economy, you may need like round-based games. So maybe you could have like a staking round and then play 5 or 10 rounds of the game. And the staking round is basically set up to do your Sybil resistance and basically say, you know, each player has to put in 0.01 ETH to start. And if you want, you can, you know, put 10 different bots in there and pay their way in, but you've got to pay their way in to start the game. So there's like some interesting like mechanisms you need to come up with. But you're right, like it's adversarial. And you have to think that if there's a way that a person can steal all the money, they will. And so we're thinking now, like hackathons are kind of lame because people are always playing hackathon bingo, basically, right? They're playing sponsor bingo. So we're thinking like on-chain games could be a fun competition. And so I'm thinking of a way where I could one-shot a challenge. So basically get in front of a crowd of people, lay out some kind of prompt that builds a small, simple smart contract game, and then put like $100 in the smart contract. And then it's basically like the winner is the person who gets the money out of it. and there will be like some coded in, if you go here and do this, you collect some of this money, or at this point there's like this trigger where some of this money is launched. But there's also like the emergent stuff of, if I put something weird in the contract, maybe you can just hack the contract, and that's just part of the game, right? Maybe I put the $100 in there and we realize it's locked forever, or maybe I put the $100 in there and someone is able to immediately steal it, and that's fine. Then I just like do another prompt, put another game out there, and put another $100 in it, right? Until we get to like, okay, we just played for 20 minutes and had the most fun ever, and someone won $100. Like, now let's put 1,000 in. Right? Like, let's go for it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for on-chain games is I want to do something that engages Solidity devs and product builders in a way where when you deploy something on-chain right now, you're in the top like 0.1% of developers. But any developer can pick up Solidity and put a simple smart contract out there. So imagine a game where you just have to put a couple simple smart contracts out there, and then you're able to participate in the game. But the game is mostly luck at that point. So it's sort of like skill based, like, can you put a smart contract on chain? And then it's luck based. Between everybody who put a smart contract on chain, there's like this game that plays out and one of them wins, almost like a lottery. So we're thinking kind of something along those lines for developer engagements, kind of like the intersection of on-chain games and Solidity developer engagement. But it's still just a twinkle in my eye. Well, but with vibe coding, you can go from twinkle in your eye to on-chain in about 15 minutes. So maybe it will get it will get thrown out there one of these days.
Yeah. And I just posted the tweet of Alex there on the chat, Austin. And
Right.
I wonder, like, I guess you mentioned it's been 5 years, right? Like now with AI, for example, now that bots are smarter, right? Have you thought a little bit about how that affects on-chain games? Like you mentioned also, like it can now one-shot Solidity, right? So that's interesting. Like
Yeah, who knows? let me see. It's in chat. Let me find that tweet and see if I can come up with anything particularly different. Let me bring it on page. Yeah, is it on the screen now? Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, number one, be a good game first, right? That's why. Okay, so also I'm doing this series called PMFers. If you haven't heard of PMFers, check out PMFers. It's like I'm interviewing a bunch of people that have built things that people have used on chain. But during the episode with Zach Herring, he mentioned like when he builds an app, he usually builds it in HTML first and make sure it's fun. And that's kind of the goal here. Nothing on chain yet. Just like give me some HTML, let me put it in my kids' hands, and let's see like when they put it down. Like if they don't put it down, there's something going on and it's kind of fun, and maybe we should iterate and look at it more, right? So I think be a good game first is like the hardest part, and it's the first thing you need to do. So if you're down here trying to figure out like some game theory shit, like you're way too far ahead of things. Make a good game that is fun to play in a browser on a mobile, and then extend it from there, I think. Yeah, explore what makes blockchain unique. Think about like Dark Forest, right? Like you couldn't have built Dark Forest without ZK proofs and smart contracts. And that combination is going to be like lethal in the future. Like governments are all going to come on chain and they're going to use the combination of ZK proofs and like cheap smart contract solutions. And so I think that like building something in that area is already fun. So there's something there. But what other things make a blockchain unique, right? And I think one of the biggest things that make blockchains unique is just that it's like massive multiplayer. Jumping into, let's see if I can go to my old website here and look at Gallias, a game that I built here. I was kind of building this game for myself, thinking around, but then there was this moment where, oh no, I don't want to go there. There was this moment where I want to look at this image. How do I do that? No. No. There we go. Okay, look at this. It was massive multiplayer. Like, basically, I set it up so you could buy a boat. You paid a little bit of ETH, and then your boat showed up here. And then you could sail back and forth by making one more transaction. So there wasn't technically like movement in the game. The way I did it was you send a transaction to put up your sails. And if you're facing either direction and your sails go up, your boat just automatically moves with each block. So with each block mined, all of these boats would be moving, and you'd see them sort of click along as a block got mined. And that's definitely like unique to blockchain, right? And then just like the massive multiplayer of it, I didn't like see that coming until I put my first game out and watched people play it. There is some real magic in seeing your game, right? And knowing like each one of these is an Ethereum address controlling that boat. So massive multiplayer from the go, like from the start. And just know that like your game, if it runs on chain, is automatically censorship resistant and massive multiplayer. And that's really cool. I think also like DAO governments. I made that game called the DAO where you like vote on like game rules. So like a game would start up. Let's just go look at the DAO real quick. DAO Austin Griffith. Let's see what we find here. There we go. Maybe even that one. Oh man, sorry. Skip. Okay, so here's the DAO. Let's see if I can find. So basically, you make these rules, right? You set up like different rules within the game, and everything is an emoji, and every emoji is a smart contract. So there's this game called Proof of Stake. You buy in for $1. There's like humans, tents, stakes, and cows, and you're probably like the tents are probably generating humans, and then the cows are probably generating meat. But then you have this like victory condition. I think the victory condition there was collecting a certain amount of meat, but you can set any kind of victory condition. And then what's cool is you can use a Moloch DAO to vote in new game mechanics. So say we have just the tent and the cow and the beef. Maybe you could put in a new a new rule that says like this is a little sprout and the sprout will grow corn and you can feed corn to the cows to make them produce steaks twice as fast. And then you would make that rule and post it up, and then all the players would read through the rule and decide if they wanted to put that on chain or not, and then they could vote on it. And also, if the game is going shitty and they feel like it's not fair, there's a rage quit option where they can rage quit. Remember, they had to buy in with $1. They can rage quit with some fraction of their buy-in and just leave the game at any time too. So I did a lot of like DAO native and a lot of like Moloch DAO kind of stuff here. I think a reboot of a game like this could be really interesting in exploring how, imagine there's like the United States and China, and the goal is to not blow each other up. And we have all of these like nukes and AIs and weird game things, and then the like half the players are in one country and half the players are in the other country, and they have to vote. And like, is there a way that the Chinese can figure out how to get a rule into the game that helps them win? The fun DAO things.
That's funny. Like I was watching a video on like war games, right? So I was reminded of that.
Yeah, old school war games. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So permissionless composability is something that you're going to get out of the game. Players own the items and can take them somewhere else. Like everyone says they're building a composable game, and even though the parts are composable, you never really see someone take an item from one game and put it in the other game. And I think that that's like a huge problem right now with on-chain games is everyone's trying to make the game and no one's trying to make the components. I've always said that just like a really good inventory system. You make a really good inventory system that anyone can fork and use in their games. That's going to set off a whole like explosion of cool games around it, especially if like somehow there's money involved and you earn money for something. I'm just pattern matching at this point. I don't know. But yeah, embrace bots, allow people to design and improve the game. Players own the game, always on, massive multiplayer, design around the limitations. It's just such a good post from 2018.
Yeah, classic.
And I don't know what's changed here. I would say that not much has changed. Like basically the tech has gotten way better, and now we have L2s that are faster and cheaper, and we have smart contract wallets that make custody better. Most games are still using like embedded wallets, which is fine, but like if you could do a little pass key with that embedded wallet, you could back it up. So even if you chuck your phone in the toilet, you don't lose that embedded wallet. But I think these are still all things. Yeah, and like you said, AI has improved. So we just have like this number 7 is even more prevalent now. But dang, I mean, this is still it. We still haven't seen a bunch of great games come out of it yet. But I think we're right at the point where now it's time to nurture the app layer and see these kinds of things explode. How's our blow up game doing? I better head out in a second. I think I was supposed to do another meeting at